I work with the kids between the age of 6 to 17. Category of the kids who have been eating problems. We have the kids who are diabetic. We have the kids who are who have mental issues.
Mm.
So at times when you see these kids and you look at their parents, you're like, oh my God, I thank God they have kids. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had kids before. Because at times it becomes scary. It
Too
is so
much.
scary. For example, you see a kid of 1 year or 2 years being having diabetes. You find a parent having their first child is autistic. And and this is a
Mm.
parent who stays with the kid 24 hours. So you can imagine such a challenge. Thank God that I'm done with having kids. Otherwise, I
I
would,
would not have gone back.
yeah, I would be scared of having kids.
Karibu. No way. Musibire muta. Mwasibye mutya. Amahoro. Agandi. Byaibo. Habari gani. Muraho. Sangonini. Kopango. Odeo. For those of you who are wondering what that was, these are some of the various local greetings found in East Africa's diverse languages. Welcome to She Center, the female podcast, where I dive into the issues and experiences that affect women everywhere. I am your host, Resti Kansime, and I am passionate about creating a safe space for women to share their stories and triumphs. I want to thank you for tuning into my podcast, and I would love for you to join our community and stay connected with us beyond this episode. You can find us on Instagram at _She Center _podcast, and follow us on Facebook at the She Center Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and hit that follow and like button on our social media to be part of the conversation. You've been a very, very loyal listener. So it's how does it feel to finally be on the other end?
It feels different. It's different. It's challenging. Let's see how
Yeah.
it goes.
Well, you've been consuming other people's stories. Now it's time for you to share yours.
Yeah,
So I'll
I'll
just,
try and give you a bit of my story and see.
yeah, I'm excited. So, yes, this is the first time I think I did in the first season. I recorded at night, but I used to only put out short clips. This is the first time I'm going to have a whole episode on video at night. So, for the listeners who are listening, I just want to do my intro actually because I don't want to do anything. Hi guys, welcome back to She Center, the female podcast. I have no clue which episode number this is because I'm recording as many episodes as possible, and I will let them out as they come. Today we are going to we are answering the question, why She Center, why I started the She Center platform. And I am reaching out as promised to various women living different lives, doing different things, living both at home and in the diaspora. And these women are going to share parts of their journeys for us to be able to understand why women need a female digital platform. So today I brought to you my big sister, Dorian. She's a Nalongo, as you can see. She's, for those who don't understand Nalongo. So she is a mom of twins, a mom of 4, but has mothered many. I'm one of those people. And Dorian is, I think your journey to motherhood started the time when you were moving into Germany, and you have had to navigate the whole life of motherhood, raising children abroad. And I feel like that's the best thing to talk about because there are so many women. I am a part of several groups where there are women who are raising their children from abroad, and their issues are always, you listen and you're like, okay, someone back home cannot relate to what this person is talking about because you're raising children who are half, like they're half in this country and then you're trying to raise them a certain way. So I felt like it was important for us to have conversations with different women in different phases of their lives so that a listener on the other end can be able to understand how they can benefit from She Center. Because when I built She Center, I thought about my sister, I thought about my mom, I thought about my grandmother, I thought about Kajumba and Stella in Fort Porto. I was also thinking about myself, who has been in all three places. And I was thinking, what platform can exist that can be able to support Dorian, to support my mom, to support Stella, and at the same time support me. So the She Center platform has resources for any woman in any phase of life on under what we call the She Journey shelf. I'm going to keep repeating this every episode so people can understand. We have communities where women can come and create communities or join communities that are existing. We have professional service providers will be launched very soon. I'm not quite sure when, but hopefully before the end of summer, we'll be having professional service providers for people who are looking for professional services. So you could be someone like Dorian, you're living abroad and you're thinking, okay, I need to send someone back home, to the doctor or something like that, and it becomes easy for you. And then we have NGOs. Similarly, in the same way, you could recommend someone or know where to, if you want to donate money or something like that. So today we are going to listen to Dorian Kijumba Akiki. It might be very untraditional. This is unconventional. We are probably going to be laughing and joking about everything because she's my sister, and this is going to be more like a conversation. And I want her to share her journey of motherhood in the diaspora so that we can be able to get into that. I've just started that journey and I learn so much every day. I'm like, okay, Dorian did this, let me see what I can do in the era that we are living in. So I wanted to share her journey with us. So for the mothers out there who are living in the diaspora or those who are planning to have kids in the diaspora, I think this conversation will be for you. So thank you so much, Dorian, for your time. I know you're very tired and I am also tired. But we finally managed to record this episode. You've dodged me for season 1, season 2, and I finally got you in season 3 of She Center because I finally need all the people who have been dodging me previously to finally come here and share their journeys. So please tell us first introduce yourself, tell us about yourself, and then you can tell us about your journey of parenting in the diaspora, how it has been, how it started, how you've navigated it.
Hi, Central listeners and viewers. My name is Dorian Kijumba. I'm a mother of four. I'm a Nalongo. So I started my journey of motherhood at the age of 26. Um, though it was a bit earlier, I started earlier taking care of my sisters and my other siblings around me. I got to get experience and I learned a lot from the people around me, with my mom, with my sisters. So when I came to German, I conceived, when I just arrived in German, I had my twins like a year after, and things were completely different. I remember when I was still pregnant, mom told me, hey, you're pregnant now. The moment you deliver those kids, your life is going to change completely. I didn't know
Yeah.
what she meant. Life changed immediately. I delivered the kids because I had to run according to their program, not according to my program anymore.
Yeah.
Everything you're doing, you have to first think, with the kids, after that I drop off the kids here, then I can do this. When the kids sleep, I can do this and this. You do
Yeah.
not have any plan of your own. You just have to plan after the kids.
Yeah.
So when I delivered them, we were in the hospital for some time. Then we came home. That's when it became a full-time job. And I used to
Yeah.
hear people saying, in German, the moment you have a kid, it's a full-time job. It's automatically a permanent job. I didn't know what that was
Yeah.
until I arrived home with the twins alone, and then the journey started. And at the back of my mind is, after something, when they grow up, maybe 1, 2 years, yeah, I'll start doing this and that. No, it does not end there. Every
Yeah.
step has its own challenges and also, its responsibilities.
Yeah.
So I took care of the twins. They grew up. Luckily enough, they're a bit independent at that time. Things were a bit easy. Then he started to wish for triplets. Oh, people thought I was crazy. Yeah, you're wishing for triplets. And I really wanted triplets. But this time
Mm.
around, God did not answer that prayer that way, the way he
Thank
wanted.
God.
He didn't answer the way he wanted, but he answered it after some time, like 10 years is when I got other two other kids. And they also
Mm,
1 year apart.
mm,
But with them, it was completely different.
mm,
I came with my other experience from the twins to these other ones 10 years after.
mm.
And it did not work. It could not work
Yeah.
at all. It was
Mm.
completely different. And I keep saying, I thank God that I got the twins first, then these last ones last.
You would not
If I
have
had
got more.
gotten, I no, I wouldn't have wished for more because the
Mm-hmm,
challenges were completely different.
mm-hmm,
Although, what I forgot to tell you about is when I was raising the twins, I was completely a single mom.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I was alone with the twins, a young mom, everything. A new migrant, and everything was completely new. But I
mm-hmm.
managed to maneuver through and I succeeded. How?
Yes,
I
you
don't
did.
know.
The
So
grace
when
of
that,
God.
yeah, that was completely the grace of God. But
Yeah.
with these two young ones, because they're also almost like twins, 1 year apart,
Mm-hmm,
I thought things were going to be easier because my husband was around, the dad was around. I'm not completely
mm-hmm,
a single mom like
mm-hmm,
before. But then it was more challenging because they're
mm-hmm,
different. I
mm-hmm,
came with the
mm-hmm.
other experience from the twins to these ones, which was completely different. The way I trained the other ones, I could not train these ones. These ones came with full power of rejection. Whatever I was trying, they were doing the opposite. Whatever I tried to
Yeah.
apply, they're doing the opposite. But I
Mm-hmm,
thank God that my husband was around, and
mm-hmm.
at some point he really tried to support me and help me through, and then we raised them. They're
Yeah.
also now about 8 and 7 years, almost
Mm-hmm,
9 and 8. But still, parenting is different. They're challenging. They need a lot of attention, which
mm-hmm.
is completely different from
Yeah.
Uganda. In Uganda, when you're in Uganda, you're raising kids, you raise as a community. You have aunties, you have brothers, you have sisters
Mm-hmm.
all around.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
here, yeah, I might have my sisters around and brothers, but they also have their responsibilities.
Mm-hmm,
You can't
mm-hmm.
depend on them 100%.
True.
So, with these ones up to now, they're still challenging me. That's what I have to say. That's what I can say. But the good thing is they are growing, and every step has different challenges. Not
Mm-hmm,
forgetting the twins have grown, they're 18, but they still need me.
mm-hmm.
Like here they say, when a kid grows 18 is completely independent. Yeah, compared to Uganda, a kid of Europe who is 18 is more independent than the kid in Uganda. But still, as a mom, you find yourself still
Mm-hmm.
putting your eye there, popping your nose here and there, and
Yeah.
these kids sometimes they don't like it. And sometimes you feel like they are too independent and they close you out. And
Mm-hmm.
that thing is so challenging. I don't know how mothers have managed to go through it. It's one thing that is really challenging me. You
Mm-hmm.
find that the kids are grown, they don't want to tell you what they are going through. You have to really dig deep inside, which
Yeah.
is not
Yeah.
easy. Sometimes they feel, you're taking away our independence, our freedom, our privacy. And yet, it's not that you're trying to do like how you are brought up. Because yeah,
Yes.
us in
Yes.
Uganda at 18, you're still a kid. You don't have much say. However much you may say, I'm an adult, but you're still depending. You're still under your parents' house. You
Mm-hmm,
cannot
mm-hmm.
be completely independent, which is different here. You find that a kid who is 18, when she goes to a doctor here in Europe, and you happen to call the doctor and ask what happened or anything, the doctor will not give you any information because the kid is already 18.
Yeah.
That is really, really challenging. I'm learning how to maneuver this independence and young adulthood thing, which is really becoming a bit hard for me. But I pray with the grace of God I'll go through it. And to take you back to the small ones, yeah, and the fact that there's this big difference. At first, I thought, yeah, the kids, these ones are old, these ones are young, they'll help me. Wow, no way. Not like us, how we used to take care of our small ones. Hey,
Yeah.
take care of your small kids, take care of your small siblings, and it was normal. But here, the
Yeah.
big ones tell them to take care of their small ones. It's it's quite challenging. It's like you're burdening them. It's like they're doing you a favor. And yet for us, we used to do it wholeheartedly. Something normal, naturally. Here
Yeah.
the kids feel that you're giving them their responsibility, you're burdening them. They're supposed to be doing their own things, going out, hanging out with friends. But when you keep telling you, when you ask them, not even telling them, when you ask, you have to ask, kindly ask them. They feel you're giving them that burden. So, which becomes a bit hard. But still, you try to bring in the African in you a little bit and talk with them, and then they accept, which is
Yeah.
completely different. Here in Europe,
Yeah.
the moment you have your own kids, it's your responsibility. The siblings doesn't concern them. So that's how we've been going through, and yeah, and we're moving on.
Yeah. Oh wow. You've said a lot that I was thinking there's so many people who are probably navigating that because as you said in Africa, like I don't even know, even after you've married, there's a way your parents are still in control of your life.
Ex-
And
Exactly.
like even up to now you're here and your aunties at home are calling you, hey, have you done this, have you done this, and you're thinking like you have to update them what is happening. And yet here you find a kid at 18, you don't even know what's happening, where they went, if they have even left to the university and gone. You're like, okay, let's just pray that everything is going fine. Because I remember when I was at the university, everything like Christmas, Easter, I was packing up things to go home. And I would always, my friends, for them, they're making plans to meet with each other. And I'm like, don't you guys like go to celebrate with the family? You're like, no. And someone would be like, yeah, I haven't seen my mom. And like, I'll see her maybe like on Christmas holiday or something like that. That's the family holiday. Like, there's a way that the independence, I think from the time the kids are young here, they teach them independence. And that kind of becomes
Independence,
so
yeah, they have.
shocking. Yeah. It
The
becomes shocking for
independence
a
is really
person.
too
Yeah.
much. Yeah,
For
yeah,
you who
yeah.
has grown up in Africa, it becomes too shocking, like culturally.
And it's hard, it's not easy to adjust. And the thing is, we try to groom them the way we were brought up, and for them,
But they're
they
not.
don't know. Yes, they don't know what we are trying to teach them because they're
Yeah,
only here. They only know what is in Europe, what is in diaspora. And
exactly.
for us, we've been in Africa, we've been in Europe, and we try to teach them both, which is really, really hard. At first, I was really hard on them, but I learned. With time, I try to learn, and I'm getting there. I'm much better now. I'm no longer the other very, very strict mom. And
You had to
sometimes
calm
the
down.
twins, yes, and sometimes the twins tell me, "Hey, Mama, how comes for us we are doing this? How comes we are not doing this on the small ones?"
Yeah,
It's because
yeah,
I have learned. There are some
yeah,
mistakes I did the other time, which I'm trying to learn and adjust.
yeah,
And it's not easy, but you try to adjust with time.
yeah. Man, as we are just starting that journey, so let's hope it becomes easier as we go. But I think I would like to take you back from the at the beginning. You shared how you had the kids and you were a single mom. You've always told us the story of how you were in the hospital alone. I think this is something that could resonate with so many people. In Uganda, when you're going to give birth, you go with your whole bag, you have the senga there with the lesu, back home, when Monica is seated with her lesu there, and like the hospital is full 24/7. There are people coming to bring porridge, bring this. And then when you're having twins, not just twins, moreover twins who came earlier than they were supposed to, prematurely, and then you were alone in a country you had literally just come 1 year, you could not speak the language fluently, you're in a different city, you've been taken into a hospital, you don't know anyone, you do not know anything. Please tell us about this, because there might be someone out there who might be going through this and they're like, Vanage, what should I do?
Wow. Oh, that's one story I never forget. Oh my God. I came in 2007 in February, and then I delivered my girls in August, which was just about 7, 8 months in Germany. So I went to the hospital for a normal checkup. When I reached the hospital, the doctor told me, we don't think we're going to release you. You're going to have a bed rest. I said, but I can go back home and have a bed rest. The doctor told me, no, we are not letting you go. It's risky to let you back home. So you have to stay in the hospital. So in my mind, I thought, I'm going to stay for 1 or 2 weeks, then they let me go home. No, I stayed in the hospital for over 4 weeks before I delivered.
Wow.
And this is a city which was quite far from home. And that's the time mommy was going to travel. I didn't know anyone. Okay, they had a friend who used to come and visit me, but she was also busy and a bit far. I I pleaded with the doctor to let me go back home. Can you imagine? And yet that was being risky for me to walk to go back home. But I
Yeah.
was pleading for the doctor. Doctor told me, no, you're going to stay here and we keep monitoring you because you're carrying twins. We cannot let you go home. It's quite risky.
High risk, yeah.
Yeah, so I stayed in the hospital for about 4 weeks before I could deliver the twins. And I remember that time mom had traveled to Uganda and she was about to come back like a week or 2 weeks back to come back to Germany. Then one morning I was doing my checkups as usual. Then that morning the checkup took so long. It's called EKG. They were listening to the hearts of the baby. They used to do it every morning and evening. But that morning it took so long. So then I asked the nurse, and she said, you wait, we're going to tell you it's everything is fine. So she came back after some minutes and she's like, you know what, Frau Kijumba, we are preparing you for theater. We have to remove the babies now. I'm like, eh? It shocked me. I will never forget that moment. It was early in the morning. Then I told her, no, but can't we wait for 1 week? I started pleading again for that. They said, no, the kids don't have enough space. They are growing. And you're getting weak. We really need to save both of you, you and the kids. I'm like, but maybe we can wait maybe 4 days. So in my mind, I was like,
You think
how am I
about your
going to
mom.
deliver? How am I going to deliver home in the hospital alone when mommy is still at home? I'm trying to plead so that maybe by the time if the extent mommy will be back. They told me no. Then I tried to get an excuse. I told them, but I've not even washed, I've not bathed, I've not brushed. They said, okay, we'll let you go back to your room and brush, but you're going in a wheelchair. But I can walk. They said, no, you can go because where they were checking me from was like it was quite a distance, like a kilometer, 2 or 3 kilometers, and there were stairs. So I came back with a wheelchair.
Wheelchair.
They brought me in the bedroom. Then they said, the nurse who brought me, she told me, I'm going to wait here on the door. When you're done, you call your door,
No running.
then you go back. So just rushed. I got the phone. I called mommy, and those days there were no smartphones. I called
Internet,
her
yes,
direct.
yeah.
Yeah, it was very early in the morning. I told her, mommy, they're taking me to the theater. They're taking me to the theater. Oh. Mommy screamed. I just told her that. Then I went off the phone. And then I was shivering. I went to the bathroom. I brushed, and then the nurse was already knocking. It's taking too long. Can we go? They took me back. Then I was in the theater. They In the theater, I was there alone. Delivery room alone. I started
Yeah.
shivering. And before that, when I had just come to Germany, I was watching these programs of delivery, women delivering kids, how they push, how they operate. So all those things came back to my mind.
Oh,
I started shivering. I don't know why I was shivering, but I was so,
you're
I was
scared.
not scared, but all these stories started running in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Then the anesthesia, I don't know how they call it in English.
Anesthesiologist, yeah.
Then she told me, I'm here, I'm going to take care of you, you don't have to worry, and so on and so on. As he was still talking, then I had the pushing my stomach, then I had the baby cry. I said, the first baby is already out. So they couldn't bring the baby immediately because she was having breathing problems, and that baby was massive. By the way. About she was
Hi,
like about
Mercy.
2 point something. She was 1 point something kilo, 1.9. So they rushed her properly to clean her up and put her on oxygen because she was having breathing issues. I couldn't see her immediately, but the doctor kept on telling me, "Have you heard that is the first baby?" Yes, the first baby. So I got excited. I forgot about the pain and about the scare. I was not scared anymore. I was just looking forward to seeing my babies. These are my first kids, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had the second cry, and the second one was out. I was so happy. I forgot about the shivering. The shivering, I don't know how it disappeared. At that moment, I was not shivering anymore. Then they opened for me the curtain. They told me, you see, they're there, they're working on them, but immediately they will bring them to you because of the breathing issues. They could not put them on your chest immediately.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So they worked on them. They finished working on me. They put me in the recovery room. Hey, the shivering came back. Oh, the shivering was so much. But again, they brought me the pictures. They took the pictures of the twins and they showed me the pictures of my babies. The shivering disappeared at that moment. I don't know what
Oh.
was the magic. The shivering just would just come and just disappear just like that. So when the shivering disappeared, they put the picture there. I kept on looking at them. Now I was saying, I can't wait to go back to my room and call mommy and tell her I have gotten the babies and everything. So I stayed in the recovery room for about an hour or two. Then they took me back. I didn't even sleep. Got on the phone. Those days you had you buy a card, you load airtime and call. I called mommy. I called that. I was just on phone. I kept on talking until evening. That's when I tried to rest. I was not feeling any pain.
Mm-hmm.
So about in the evening around 7 o'clock, they came. They told me, yeah, you know what? You have to get up and see. You have to get up. We are taking you to see the babies. Oh, the pain of getting up. It was really, really too much. But then they told me, don't you want to see the babies? Each time they would say that pain is too much, and they, don't you want to see your
You were-
babies? The pain would go out. Try to stand and sit. I tried to get up. I sat in the wheelchair, and then they took me and watched the babies. They were so nice. They were still in the incubators, growing up, but it was really good. Then so the days went on over and over and over.
How
Then
long
they
did you stay in
discharged
the
us.
hospital?
Where I delivered from, I stayed for 1 week, and then they transferred us to the children's hospital where we stayed for 2 months. So
Wow.
altogether 3 weeks, or 3 months rather.
And mommy had come back at that time, right?
The time they transferred us, mom had not yet come back, but she came after 2 weeks after. Yeah, she came 2 weeks after I delivered. So I stayed there. She came, she visited me. I was happy and so on. But then where she was staying home was very far from where the hospital I was. So she could not come every day. So we just be
Oh.
on phone. We talk on phone only. Remember, no visitors, no these things of pressing you, giving you yenda with you to bring the milk and everything. I did not get that experience. That's when you first know that. That's when you really discover that you're not in Uganda, you're in Europe. Visitors,
Yeah.
no visitors, no these things of being for you, vienda in the morning, porridge and everything. I didn't experience those things. Although mom would come once in a while, and when she would come, yeah, you'd really feel the difference. So after
Yeah.
2 months, we went back home, and
The
life
kids had even
started.
grown.
Yeah,
Wow.
life really started there.
Eh,
The
I'm
serious
just
business.
imagining. I'm just imagining how privileged people back home are.
Yeah, they are, but
You
again,
know?
again, it's too much. At this point, I find it too much.
Yeah, actually, you're right. I remember someone had a baby. Was it Rachel? And you know, everyone comes with their advice. This one is telling you cover the baby. The other one is telling you drink porridge. You're still there. I remember when Imi had a kid, no one even cared about her. All of us just wanted to see Kendrick. That's it. Like Imi was just laying there, and we are telling her, "Oh, the baby is tall. The baby is looking like this," and she's like, "Can I see?" Because she was just seated there. And then here, somehow, when you have a baby, even cesarean, in like a few hours they're telling you to get up. You find people moving around
Yeah,
doing different
to
things
stand
because
up.
you know there's no one who's going to do these things for you. So I think the recovery also takes longer. Like here people give birth and in like 2 days someone has gone home if there wasn't like prematurity. But in Uganda, people know that you've had a baby by cesarean because you're staying in the hospital longer, and they have to treat you. I don't know if it's a trick by the hospitals to get some extra money, but it takes a longer time. And then there's a way people back home are treated. You know, oh, they had cesarean, they can't move, and yet here, after 1 week, you find someone moving around in town with their with their stroller.
Exactly. That is on my second child, 10 years after, when I got my second child, my son. Yeah, it was nice. It was roller coaster. My sisters around, you around, mommy was around, my husband. I didn't feel anything.
Hmm, hmm,
It was quite different. People were around. Yes, you feel that care,
hmm,
but again, at times it becomes too much when you're not so much used to the other and compared to what is in Uganda. So I got my second child. It was also abrupt because I was not yet prepared. Due to some healthy conditions, they told me, no, we have to take you to the theater. And luckily enough, that time everyone was around. They stayed around. I remember I delivered him late in the evening is when they took me to the theater. I think it was around 7 or 8. And yeah, it felt different because everyone was looking, where is the boy, where is the baby, where is the baby, and they tend to forget you, and you also tend to forget yourself. You're anxious about the baby, you're happy,
yeah.
excited, but the moment they leave, the pain really comes. I remember that night I never slept. It was different. It was completely different. Well, the pain is it's just mental, I don't know. But for the second son, it was really, really painful in the night. And it but luckily enough I didn't stay in the hospital for long. I remember they discharged just after like 5 days or 1 week. We came back home and life started. Things were normal. Started doing my work, my cooking, my moving up and down here, there with a
Yeah.
kid everywhere you go. You know, when here you move with a kid everywhere you go.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
please, let's talk about that moving because I know you're always, every time I'm complaining to you about stroller, you're like, Rusty, I carried two kids with a stroller moving from one train and changing platforms. Tell us about that struggle.
yeah, I used to move with the stroller. The stroller for the young ones is quite different because there I was driving. Before I was using public means with the twins. We used to go with a stroller everywhere. Yeah, you go with it. You have a bag. Maybe you're traveling somewhere. You have a suitcase here. You have your luggage. You have a stroller. Two kids inside. And then time reached when they were walking, and then they would reach somewhere and they go different directions. So you get confused which direction do I go to. They would run to. I remember one time we were going to visit a friend, and well, in this, these fast trains in German, and then before we were almost getting out, like we were remaining with two stops. Then one said, mommy, I want to go to the bathroom. So we rushed to go to the bathroom very fast before, when the train stops. It takes only
Yeah.
a few minutes and then it drives away.
Yeah. And the next stop is too far away.
Too far. So that time I rushed. I went to them Sabasi very fast. They finished. Then the train stopped. We rushed out. That time when we rushed out, we forgot my handbag. The handbag, which had the tickets, the phone, uh, the wallet, everything, the handbag, I just forgot it in the toilet and I just rushed out and got out. And the train, the moment I got out, then I realized the train just set off. I tried to hit the train, it was gone. I could not do anything. In my head, I did not know any number of heads to call. My friend who was I was visiting, she was waiting for me. I didn't know her number. I got stranded for about 5 minutes, and the kids I said, "Mama, when are we reaching? Mama, have you arrived? Mama." Hey, that moment, only number I had was Imi's number in my head in Uganda. You can imagine. I had to call her, and then
Wow.
she's the one who informed the people here in Germany. Then they
Really?
started looking
Wow.
for us. Yeah, I had to call email, tell her, email, I'm stranded. And someone just gave me coins. And thank God that time those coins, those phone booths were
The phone
still there.
booths, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wow.
now they're no longer there. So I got
Mm-hmm.
that. I called her, got the coins. I called her immediately. And then I told her where I was. I told her, you tell mommy to tell our friend. And so the chain, it was a chain of calls.
Wow.
And
And that
luckily
was
enough, the
before
man,
WhatsApp.
yeah, that was about the 2010, I think, around there, 2010, 2009, because the twins were still very small. Luckily enough, we got communication and they told where I told her where had to stay there until she came. After 3 hours, she came and then joined us. And good enough, our bag, we got it the next day with everything intact.
Yeah, that's the advantage of losing things. Yeah, I did one time lose my things, but I didn't. I wasn't able to get them. But that's a very interesting story. I think it's very interesting for people to understand that there's one thing that people back home when they are complaining. Like I know when I got to Uganda, when I went with Genesis last year, it's like everyone wants to help you. And yet you're like, I actually don't need your help. Like, I'm fine. Because I
Mm-hmm.
remember Pal's maid was so offended that I did not want to give her Genesis. She was like, okay, let me carry for you the baby. You go. And I'm like, no, I'm actually fine. I can carry her. I had my carrier. You know, you're always prepared. You have everything. Like my bag,
Mm-hmm.
I know this bag is for when I'm going to go with a car. This one is without a car because, you know, you're used. It's normal. So I had my carrier here. I carried her and we were going in the supermarket. And Paul was like, oh, okay, live with the kids. And then the maid either moves around carrying and then they carry the things. And the woman was so offended because she was asking me, so eventually later she asked me, Toina Mukos, like you have no maid. I'm like, no, I don't. She's like, eh. I could tell, like, she had that thing of, why is this girl being different? Like, is she just refusing me to hold her child? Is she thinking I'm being,
Mm-hmm.
like, did she think I was just being mean? But eventually it made me realize, like, there are some times when, like, Amy calls us and tells us, you guys have no maid, it's too much here. And I'm like, in Europe, no, mate. No,
No
nothing.
maid,
You have everything you have to
everything.
do. You have to do everything yourself. So, in many cases, we like to compare, like, motherhood is the same. But that's one thing that I think She Center needs to address. Like, we are different. The mother who is in Uganda has different struggles than the mother who is here. Sometimes I see my friends complaining about maids. When I'm in Uganda, I'm not leaving my child for any maid, not on the horror stories that I have had. Because in the end,
Mm-hmm.
right now, I'm in a mom group, and every day, they call them nakas, every day, someone sends a message and tells about some hideous story about what happened with their mate. So sometimes you're like, you know what? I'm struggling, but that struggle is on a whole nother level. For me to leave my child at home with someone I don't trust already, and then that person is supposed to take, and you can't fire them because you're desperate. You need them to stay with you at home. So do you feel like you would have wanted to, now that you've reached this level, do you think it would have been better for you to raise your child at home, or do you feel like the challenges here have kind of helped you to be a better mom?
To be sincere, I don't know that I have no experience with that parenting in Uganda, apart from seeing my with my siblings and my siblings and my nieces and so on. But me
Mm-hmm.
myself, all my children, I've had them here in Europe,
Mm-hmm. So you
and
can't compare.
I can't compare. I don't know how it would be like, because in my life when I was still in Uganda, I never had a maid. I don't know life with a maid. That's the
Me
truth.
too.
I don't know. I don't
Me
know any
too.
life with a maid. What I know is me doing my things the way I want them,
Yeah.
and you program yourself and you find yourself
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's at times it becomes too much, but you maneuver and you go through it. Life
Mm-hmm.
with a maid, I don't know it, and I don't think
Yeah.
even when I go, but now their kids are grown, but I don't think we can handle having a maid around for what? It's another extra baggage, by the way. But
Yeah.
in Uganda, it's quite different because, like, for us, when we
Yeah.
give birth here, we have a time, we have about 2 to 3 years to stay home with a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
Uganda, if they go to work as early as three
3 months.
months,
Yeah.
it's really it's a delicate stage. I find it
It
really really
is.
delicate to leave a kid for over
Mm-hmm.
8 hours or 12 hours with a stranger at the age of 3 years, 3 months.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I really can't handle it.
I
I don't
remember
know how
Mark was
people
saying.
manage. Mm,
I remember Mark was saying that being raised in Uganda or in Africa, it's like everything he has learned now as a father, everything the doctors tell us is like, but our parents didn't have all this information. How are we alive? How are we surviving? It must be a miracle because here they sit down, explain to you. So this vaccination in Uganda, you just take what is available. What's there is what you take. Okay, of course, right now there's a lot of changes. Paul was telling me
mm.
when you go to the hospital, you can get to choose. Apparently, there's a vaccine, the one which doesn't make the baby cry, and there's that one you pay money. Then there's the one which is the normal one, which your child might get the fevers and everything. And
Fever and the
I,
pain and the side effects. Yeah, depends.
I felt like that's very challenging. Of course, the struggles that we go through, and I think just to kind of always keep putting it out there, it's very hard for people to compare mothers. Like I know so many people who will call you from Uganda and they start telling you, "Oh, you've not taught your children to do this." Like you have bigger problems than teaching your child how to speak a language or to teach your child how to do certain things. Like your problems are completely different. And at the same time, you would be coming from here and you're a person back home and you're looking and you're like, oh, you leave your child with a maid, really? And you're not thinking that this person had to go back to work at 3 months. Like I remember my friend, I was trying to like I was telling him how, man, I don't think I can do it. I don't know how to do this. Last year, and my friend is a guy because his wife is in the UK, and he was telling me, I was like, Resty, don't think that's an advantage. He was telling me people who raise their children abroad, they forget themselves. Like you completely forget yourself. You don't have time for your
That's
friends. You
very
don't
true.
have
That's
you
very
don't
true.
have
Yeah.
like you don't even get time to heal mentally because like yes,
Mm.
the government has given you 3 months, but in those 3 months, 3 years, what are you doing in those 3 years? You forget yourself, you don't have support. But he was saying back home, like the women have that moment where they are away from their child and they get to to breathe and be like, okay, uh it's hard, but after a couple of weeks you get used to it and somehow you prioritize yourself. That's why you see someone back home at 6 months, you look at the person, they're looking so good and you're like, how are you doing your nails and looking this good? You've just had a child
And
here.
that's the very reason why they give birth to more and more children. Before when I just come, I used to hear people, yeah, I'll give birth to only one child. Yeah, I'll not give birth to any child. I didn't know what that meant. I'm
Mm-hmm,
seeing
mm-hmm.
this now because
Yeah.
you find that people well, the moment you give birth, you give up your the whole self. You're fully
Completely.
focused on the kids. You're
Mm-hmm,
completely on the kids. You forget yourself. But
mm-hmm.
in Uganda, you're okay, you give birth, you have full help. The
You
next
can
day you
take
say,
them with the
let me give
parents.
another one. You let me give birth
Yeah.
to another one. Let me like that. But
Yeah.
here it's challenging.
It
You
is,
give
yeah.
birth, it is your 100% your responsibility. You cannot
I,
pass it on to anyone.
I
No,
know.
and yeah, I would really, I think, on the other hand, it's quite good. It gives you time to bond with your child, which is
Yeah,
different
it
in
has
Uganda.
advantages. Yes, yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
in Uganda, yeah, you give them birth, the kid is there, you have a maid, takes care of the
Some
kid,
kids are
and
closer to
kid
the
grows.
maid.
Yes,
Closer to the
the
maid,
kid
yeah.
grows, goes to school, the mom is paying their school fees, and they don't get time to know their children. They don't get time
And
to
remember,
know
there's
what
boarding
is
school
happening.
also. There's even boarding
Yes,
school. Yeah.
boarding school, they put in a boarding school, the parents there are after making money for to make a better life for their kid, forgetting having time and bonding with a child, which is very, very important. And that's the reason why you're finding of late we have so many kids going through a lot of mental issues. The parents don't know what is happening to their children.
True, true,
And this
true.
is something that is really new. I've had several friends talking about their children being drug addicts, being what, learning all sorts of behaviors when the
True.
parents are not aware
Of
because they don't
course.
have the
I
time.
shared this on a previous episode. I think by this time when we're recording this, it should be out. When actually I shared this on the Ugandan Boy podcast, I was telling people how I didn't grow up with my mom. Like when we were growing up, we were at boarding school. You come back from boarding school, you come home, and then it took me like it's normal, back home. Some people even take them to like there were kids who joined school at 5 years old. Can you imagine? They're at 5 years.
Yes,
four
yeah.
years you take a child to boarding school, and this kid, like, they only see you once in a while. So I remember talking to my friend, and my friend told me, "Oh my God, Resty, I feel so sorry for you. Every child needs them." I had never seen it in that way because it's the normal thing back home. I'd never seen how it has affected me because I realized that I remember even when I got my first period, I was in P6. Mommy found out 1 year later. I didn't tell her, but like that excitement where your child gets their period, you have that moment where you get to talk to them at boarding school. By the time you come back, it has become normal. Your friends have given you advice on how to do it. You've gone to the
Mm-hmm.
senior woman teacher. Your friends have told you, like, you come back when you're already an adult in the head. The teacher is telling you pull. This one is telling you this. Like, they're teaching you independence. You've practically become a wife at that point. They're teaching you how to take care of your
Exactly. So
husband
many
at the
things. Yeah.
P6. And
Mm.
these are things that parents should be the ones. And I'm liking the conversations that are going on right now. People are starting to talk about this. um I was hearing, what's her name? Is it Sharifa something? She's a psychologist. She was talking about how for her, as soon as her kids come back, when she picks them from school, she has to ask them, tell me everything. What did the teacher do? What did your friends do today? Because she wants to be in it. What did they tell you? How did it make you feel? And that's someone who is coming from the mental health perspective of it. But Dorian, me as an example, by the time I would come back from boarding school, I have handled my own problems. I don't know if it was the same for you. Like, if someone was
It
bullying
was
me,
the most important thing was how
uh,
did you perform? Where is the pass slip?
no,
They
on
used to call
VD,
them
you
pass
just
slip,
want to
bank slips.
pass,
Yeah.
pass sleep.
And
On
then
VD, it
on
is
VD
food,
they come. How
food.
did you behave in school? Where are the results?
Exactly.
And
That's it.
yeah,
That's
pocket
it.
money, and then they go.
That's
They,
it.
they
Yeah,
used
because
not to
there's
ask
too
us
little
what is
time.
going on.
Nothing
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
very true.
I remember
Yeah.
one time I was performing badly, and all the teachers came and surrounded me and started telling mommy, "Oh, your daughter, yeah, she will repeat, she will repeat, she will repeat." No one sat down to ask, "Ah, but this girl was performing well in the classes before. What has happened? What Something new has happened?" Mommy that day left saying, "Obahulile, that is what they have said. You're not being serious." Because on that day, even it ruins the VD because the teachers are just there to report what you've done wrong the whole time. It ruins the whole experience of VD. Your parent, instead of bonding, now they start lecturing you. You should have done this. And I remember that year I actually performed poorly and I ended up repeating the class. But I later looked back and I realized it's because I was really lacking attention. Like, Denzel
Attention,
was
and a lot
born.
was going on
Yeah.
through.
Daniela
Yes,
was
yeah.
born. Grandma, that time we used to go to the village, remember? Now this time we're in Kampala. And in Kampala, you wake up in
Mm.
the morning, the whole day you're watching TV. A lot had changed in my life, but because we didn't have that time for us to sit down and talk about it. But these days, I realize that parents, I think millennial parents, are trying so much to bond with their children, to find out different things. And I think that's a lesson for many parents. It is a
It is
disadvantage
something
here.
new that parents are trying to adjust to, which is a bit hard, but many kids are being affected. Many, many, many kids, and
True.
it's
And now
something
with
that is really, really
internet,
important. With
yeah, with the
internet, yeah, the
internet,
whole
it's worse.
technology, it's
Yeah,
really, really worse.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
really, really
Because
worse.
us, when we'd come back from school, you had you talk to each other, your cousins, you have some time. But right now, the kid comes back and you just think that one is always on their phone. But what are they
They're on
doing
their
on the
phone, they're
phone?
in their room, they are so much enclosed to themselves. So that thing is the fact that there is a lot of technology going on is really affecting us as parents, and
Yeah,
we really need to try to not really to fight it, but to see how we can maneuver through it. Otherwise,
yeah.
we are losing out. The next generation is not going to be easy.
Yeah, but how have you navigated this whole parenting? I remember there's a point where you had the whole police, give me the phone by this time. How did you manage that? How was that policing going? And how is it going now that you have no control over the phones?
Yeah, it was hard to accept it, but now I've learned to accept it myself, most especially for the adult ones, the young adult ones. I've learned to give them, I'm learning each time I'm learning the fact that I'm working with the children and almost the same age range. So I am learning, I'm adjusting. It is not easy to keep learning at this age. The fact that you are learning and you try to erase out what you already know, what they already taught you, what you already know you saw growing
Right.
up, you try to erase them out and adjust to this new culture.
Yeah.
This is the hardest thing. You grow up, when you get physical punishments, you do this. Here you are not allowed to have those physical punishments. You have to sit and talk, and sometimes we are not so much patient. But you just try to calm down and teach yourself to be that patient, which is very, very, very hard. It's hard, but I must say that at least I'm getting there. I'm
Yeah,
not yet there, but I'm
you learn
getting
from
there.
mistakes. Yeah, you learn from
Yes,
your
yeah.
mistakes. Because I think I remember last time when I was talking to Mercy or Maisha, and I was telling them, you guys, you have to understand that your mom is really doing her best, because if you know how us were raised, because you were like the first adult in the family, and you guys,
Mhm.
it was just a matter of, you were telling them how, do you know how I grew up? And they were like, yeah, but we were not there. And I was, so me as their aunt, the younger auntie, and I'm trying to tell them, guys, your mom is coming from a completely different mindset. Like, you have to understand when she tells you, do you know how us we grew up? Like how when we were growing up, our parents would tell us, I used to walk 10
Yeah,
kilometers to
10
what? And now
kilometers.
we
We
have
used to
become those.
dig. We used to do. By the way, there's a difference. Yeah. They used to tell us
Now
how
we
they
have
used to
become
walk.
those
They used to
parents.
dig before they go to school. I would say, how can that be? Now we also try. Generations are really
now
changing.
now we have become the parents. Mommy would tell us I would wake up, take care of all the children at home, and make sure by 7 o'clock they are ready, and then I also have to go to school and study. And now I'm thinking, oh, did you really do that? Because at that time you're thinking, sure, what kind of parent would do that to their kids? And now you're trying to tell your kids how you were raised, and they're completely in a different season, and now you're trying to carry your trauma. Your trauma and all the problems your parents did not do perfectly, and now you're trying to put them on kids who, first of all, do not even know what the whole African context is. They have no frame of reference, they don't understand. Oh my god, it's so scary to
And for
have
them,
kids
it's
in
more
abroad.
we are telling them, and they're in Europe. They do not know. They have no idea about the other African side. At least for us, we had, yeah, this and that. But for them, they don't have it. And the fact that we're trying to put it inside their heads, it's hard. They can't understand it. And the more they don't understand, and we find it hard for us, we find it frustrating for us. And we end up clashing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's very true.
But the other ways, parenting in Europe is interesting. You get to be closer to your child, although if you're from a different generation and different background, it becomes hard. But I find it's more good, more interesting than in Africa. In Africa, we were more scared of the parents. Hey, you can't talk back, you can't give your opinion. But at least these kids, they give you their
You
opinion,
know. Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
even if sometimes it's hard or you don't agree with it, you try to adjust. But for us, who are kept, you don't answer back,
Zip.
and all
Yeah.
that used
Don't
to
talk.
pile up in our heads, in our hearts, and you don't know how to express yourself at the end of the day. You find that you don't have that self-confidence. But these kids, they grow up with their self-confidence. They know what to say, and they cannot be
They
bullied. They
can
cannot
speak
be
up. Mm-hmm,
they
mm-hmm,
yeah, they
mm-hmm.
can speak up. For us, some
Yeah.
of those are some of the things we didn't get when we were growing up,
Yeah.
and we
That's
find
very
it
true.
hard when we are adults.
Exactly. You even become an adult who is being bullied. Like you go to
Mm-hmm.
the office and you're being bullied because you learned how to just shut up, keep quiet when someone is talking with authority. That's very true. I think it affects your whole life. And when I had Stella on the podcast, she was talking about how even like understanding that children are different. She was talking about how for her she has like Ella and Ivy, they have
I got
completely
a
different
lesson from that.
personalities.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
actually asked her to write a blog post about it because I found so much information in that. Because I understood, I'm like, even when I see your kids, when I see, I don't have another one, so I can't really, I just compare with my sister's kids, but I can tell like Kendrick is different from Kendra, Jotham is different from Joella. You can't use the same methods that you used on Jotham and use them on
Exactly.
Joella because not only are they boy and girl, but they are completely different people. They have different interests. So I also found that
Mm.
very interesting. So it's very, I think it's always amazing to just learn and not be rigid, like to just say, yeah, this is how motherhood is supposed to be. This is what my mom taught me. I remember when I had Genesis, me and mommy were fighting all the time. Like she's telling me, do this. I'm like, mommy, you had your last kid the age I am having my first kid.
Mm.
I am more mentally mature than you were when you were a mom because I have
Mm.
reached a point where I have done the research, I have prepared mentally. You didn't prepare yourself mentally to have kids because they came, they came when you were young. But me mentally I have prepared myself and I have done the research, I know what to do. So you can't give me advice that you have not questioned. I told her, first think about those things you're telling me because your mom told you to do them 30 something years ago. You want me to replicate them and make the same mistakes, but you've not sat down to question them to find out why did my grandmother tell me to, why did my mother tell me to do this? And it was so hard in the beginning, but eventually I remember mommy one time was like, you really know your things. Like, I'm like, yes, mommy, because I am reading. You didn't have internet, you didn't have YouTube, you didn't have all those things. So I know there's some, are there, like, as we conclude, are there some of those digital resources that you have used to help you with mothering? Because I know you always have like a link for everything.
Yeah, there are some links I've watched. There are some links I've watched that mostly have been through experience, through friends. I have friends who have older kids who used to tell me what they were going through. It has been mainly through friends and relatives, and also my young sisters, what I went through with them. So that's how I've been learning. It's a process. I keep learning each
Yeah.
time. And then with my older daughters and the young ones, what I went through with them, I try to adjust. It's a learning process.
Yeah.
That which
You
doesn't
can't
end.
stop.
One
It's
thing
true.
I have learned is not to be rigid, to be that conservative African parent. No, it cannot work. And that is the mistake mostly as migrant mothers or migrant parents do. You've migrated from Africa, wherever, whichever country you've come from, you're in Europe, you carry your whole culture and you want to apply it to these kids who have not been in that culture, who are not staying in that culture, which becomes so hard for them to adjust, to understand and to apply. And the parents end up being frustrated because I've had so many parents who have tried even to take back their children to Africa. Yeah, sometimes it works. And one thing I have to say is there are those kids who really go out of their way and they are really extreme. They take them back
They
for a
come
year
back
or
better.
two. When they come back, they are really, really better.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I have, I still have to applaud our parents. They really did a great job. However much we are trying to adjust going to this Western or new technology, new generation, our parents' generation, our parents bringing up was still has more advantages than disadvantages compared to us now.
We have a lot we are fighting against that we have no control over.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It was really good because when you find for example, respect, the kids the kids of these days, of this generation Z or Alpha, their
They're,
type of respect is when I
they're
say
different.
from 1 to 10, theirs is I think on 2 or 3.
Don't you think
They
that's
don't
though
understand
best
it.
on? Don't you think that's best? I think it's relative. Like it's not for every kid because there are some places you go to. Like for instance, you might find your kids and you're thinking, "Oh my God, these kids," and then you go visit some other person and you're like, you come back home and you say, "Kids, you're very good. In fact, from today onwards, I want to appreciate you because I have seen there is a difference in." Maybe it could be the situations that they go through themselves personally at school, how it affects who they are or the people who are around them. But I think, to be honest, Dorian, that thing is relative because there are some people I have met whose kids are very respectful. They're very respectful, they do things differently, and then you meet another person and their kids are completely different. And somewhere in the middle
On
there, you're
scale of,
wondering what
on
could
the
be.
scale of 1 to 10, you'll find that the ones who are relatively good is like 3 to 4. Yes, 3 to 4. So the other is mostly the other side. I don't want to say they're disrespectful. I don't want to use
But
that one. I don't know which one.
we also, but Dorian, don't forget we also had our our stages of disrespect. So maybe it's just a young people problem that we struggle with because of all the hormonal changes that are
But
happening. Don't
still,
you think?
ours was still a bit hidden core, was also still under an umbrella, but theirs is completely open.
Open. Ah, okay. I
Yeah,
get what
theirs
you
is
mean. I get
completely
what you
open.
mean.
They
I
just
get
throw
what you
it
mean.
out there. Mm. For us, you'd
Well, they
still be,
have the
but
rights. Us, we didn't have
yeah, they
rights.
have exactly because they are taught about rights. They learn about rights. Their rights at an early age. Plus, we were never told about our rights. Although that was bad, but I find it still it's too early. And the
To know
fact
your
that
rights.
they grow up knowing, yeah, we belong to the government, with the family, and so on, with all those things. I, yeah,
Yeah. Anyways, I remember you were saying that for you now that you're working in the hospital with kids, you would not have had kids. Why is that? You'd not have had that many kids if you had started working in your job right now.
yeah. When you're in the hospital, I work with the kids between the age of 6 to 17. Category of the kids who have been eating problems. We have the kids who are diabetic. We have the kids who have mental issues. So at times when you see these kids and you look at their parents, you're like, oh my God, I thank God they have kids. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had kids before. Because at times it becomes scary. It
Too
is so
much.
scary. For example, you see a kid of 1 year or 2 years having diabetes. Is that English word? I don't know.
Yeah, diabetes. Yeah.
Diabetic. Yeah, they have, and you're like, oh my God, how do I handle, how is this parent? You find a parent having their first child is autistic. This kid does not talk, is 5 years, is not talking, and on top of that is diabetic. And the parents to adjust and understand this, that this kid is having a problem is something that is very hard. And this is a parent who stays with the kid 24 hours. So you can imagine such a challenge. Those things those are some of the things were really scary when I was like, oh, I thank God that I'm done with having kids. Otherwise, I
I
would,
would not have gone back.
yeah, I would be scared of having kids.
Yeah, no, I completely understand. I don't think some jobs are meant for people who are trying to have kids.
You find kids having problems because the mental issues, they don't want to go to school, maybe they don't want their parents anymore. We have these migrant children who come and they're 3 years here and they're like, ah, no, I don't want my parents anymore. I don't want to see their parents. You can imagine a kid who wakes up who's just 13 years and just says, I don't want to see my parents anymore. So you can imagine, how does the parent feel after going through whatever they went through to bring this kid here up in Europe, and then all of after 3 years, a kid being in Europe, I don't want to go back. I don't want to see my parents anymore. So such things have really been so scary for me, but I thank God. And I thank God that I am done and I am learning and I pray I am getting better.
Yeah, you are, definitely you are. Thank you so much, Dorian. Guys, if you've listened to this, I'm sure you find yourself in any one of these stories. Please let us know how it's happening on your end. I know this story is from Germany, but we have people in Sweden, people in America, and I'm sure the problems are equally the same. And you might actually find now, I think now that kids have phones in Uganda, the parents are facing the same problems as people in the West now. Like it's now
Yeah,
equal.
they
It's
are.
yeah,
It's the
because
same, yeah.
internet, Wi-Fi is everywhere. So you find back in the day they would say, "Hey, those problems are for the West," but right now, your kid is on the internet doing God knows what, and you're out there in your in your house. Like I'm hearing a lot of stories of kids who are killing themselves, and
They should
the mental
really,
health
really,
is
really
serious.
watch out. Mental health is really, 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 really a big issue
It
right
is.
now,
Yeah,
worldwide.
it
It's
is.
not only in Europe, it's not only in Africa,
True.
everywhere. Mental health.
True, true, true. Yeah, true. So,
Mm.
guys, here I came to answer the question which I'm answering this season: why she center? Knowing all these things, my sister here was one of the people I was researching. She was part of my data, watching her raise her kids, watching my mom struggle. I'm going to have mommy here tell us about, because I was hearing mommy the other day talk about autism and telling Auntie Jessie, she's like, yeah, you can, you can, don't worry, things will get better, things will get better. I went through all that. And I was like, Mom, I really need to have you on the podcast, because there's a woman out there who is struggling and they are wondering, how will my child ever become okay? And yet she can be the hope to come and say, well, look at my kid now. He's independent. He's doing everything on his own. And I was right where you
Mm.
are. So I feel like these stories help people to understand. She Center, there's a podcast, we have the blog posts, we have workbooks, we have communities. I'm hoping to invite some communities that are already existing onto She Center so women can join. I don't know, Doreen, if you've joined I said African Moms in Deutschland or something like that. The things people are sharing in that community, you can be like, whoo,
I
thank
would
God I
really
have a
want to
place.
join and see
I
and
won't
read
send
and
you the
share
link.
with them,
Yo,
yeah,
people
because it's
people are
really, really good.
sharing scary things there. Someone can write a message and they tell you, there's a woman I saw who was saying, my husband said he's going to deport me. People help me. I'm stuck here. And people were like, what do you mean? That guy can't send you back. And she was
Yeah.
scared. She was thinking it's true. So it's interesting. It's good how these communities come for women to come together and just advise each other and help each other, because you never really know, man. You never know how your story can help another person. If you might find someone going through exactly what you're going through and you're the only person who can help them. So that's why She Center is here.
Mm.
because I feel like we can help each other. The woman back home in Uganda can help the one here, and the one here can kind of help the one there. And I hope this conversation has helped you guys. Thank you so much, Dorian. I know it's late. This is like my first time recording this late, but I've really enjoyed the conversation. See, you did it. You thought it was going to be too it was going to be too stressful, but you did it. And thank you so much for your time. I will leave you to get back to sleep. I think I have to edit a podcast, but thank you once again, sis.
Thank you so much, sis, for hosting me. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of the work
Thank
you're
you.
doing. I'm
Thank
so happy.
you.
Keep it up. Don't give up.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace. Okay.
Good
So I'm
night.
going to please help me spread the word by sharing our episodes with your friends, family, and followers. Let's amplify the voices of women, break barriers, challenge stereotypes, and create a network of support and empowerment. Together, we can bring about positive change and make this world a better place for all. This is She Center, the female podcast, where women's stories matter. I love you all. God bless.